Hey folks, welcome to Testing Hacks. In this video, we will learn about if-else statement in Java. In the previous video, we had discussed about operators. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. In Java, if statement is used to test a specific condition is met or not. Suppose say you want to check a specific condition in case if you want to check a particular value matches that particular number. Suppose if the num is greater than 0, then only you have to execute that particular set of statements. At that time, if statement is very much useful. In if itself, we have different types of if statements. Let's see that. But if it returns true, then true block will be executed. Otherwise, false block will be executed. So what happens is, in case of if a statement, just a one set of statement that we will write. Okay. But in case of if else statement, if block will be there and else block will be there. If in case if block is true, then it will execute. If the condition is true, then it will execute the first block. Otherwise it will come to the second block. Let's see the syntax as well. In case of if else if, there will be multiple else if statements. So let's understand the syntax of it. In case of if statement, it will be just if and then a condition. So if that condition matches, then it will execute this particular code. Okay. Otherwise, it will come out of the loop. Okay. If else statement. So in case of if else, what happens? If one condition will be there, let's also see an example also. Okay, if one condition you are going to give, if this condition is satisfied, then it will come to this block. Okay, otherwise it will come to the else block. Okay, and in case of if else if the condition 1 is satisfied, then this particular code will be executed, whichever is true. Okay, that block will get executed. Here else if uh, uh, else if will come into picture. Why? Because we will write one if statement. Okay, if that is not satisfied, it will come and check the next else if block. If that else if block is satisfied, then it will come and check the another else if block. Otherwise, it will execute the else block. At last, whatever block will be having, right? In case of false, what we have to execute, that block will execute. Let's see all of them with an example. So in this file, let's declare a variable. Let's say int num, which is equal to, I'm declaring the value of num is 10. Okay. So now I'll write an if block saying that if the value of num is double equal to 10, then only I want this specific block to be executed. Then only I just want this block to be executed. At that time, just say that value of num is 10. Okay. Otherwise, it should get out of the loop. Let's check that. So now it came into this loop and executed this. Okay. Now I'll give the value of num is 12. What will happen now? Nothing will happen because there is only one specific condition that we have given. So it did not satisfy this condition and it did not execute this particular block itself. Only when the if condition matches, then only it will come into this particular block. Otherwise, it will not come into this block. Okay. So this is what we saw about if statement. Let's write it as this is how we will comment it. This is if statement, right? So for now, let's comment this particular piece of code and we will see if else block. if else statement. Okay. Now, in this specific condition, I'll take two variables, int a is equal to 10 and int b is equal to 20. Okay. So now I'll check that if the value of a is greater than b, then only I want this particular block to be executed. What I'll do, I'll write system.out.println and then I'll say that the value of a is greater than b. Okay. Otherwise, else condition will execute. In this else condition, what I'll give b is greater than a. So it is simple example. Now, if a is greater than b, is a greater than b? No. This condition is not being satisfied. What it will do? It will not go into this loop. It will directly come to the else block and it will execute another block. Let's check that out. See, now it executed the else block because the condition did not satisfy. Now I'll increment the value of a by 30. So now let's execute this. Now this condition got satisfied. 30 is greater than 20. That is the reason it came into this loop and it executed the statement which is present in this loop. Okay. So this is about the if else statement. It is very simple. If and if else is very simple. And in case of another statement, which is if right? If else if statement, as we saw the syntax, how it was, we will declare three variables. Let's say a value is 10 and then int b value is 20 and then int c is equal to 30. Okay. Now, how we will write the else if statement? We want to find the which number is big. Okay. Whenever we see, we can directly tell it. But when you have to write it in logic, we have to use else. All these conditional statements also we'll have to use. I'll check if a value is greater than b and also a value is greater than c. So I am checking if a is greater than b and c, then I want this particular piece of code to be executed. At that time, what I'll say is, I'll say that this is out and then yes. Now I will say that a is big. Okay. Otherwise, I'll also have to check another condition, right? If B, let's see, what if B value is greater? What should I do? I have to put another condition. How can I put another condition? It is using this else if block. Else if I'll put another condition saying that if value of B is greater than A and also value of B is greater than C, then let this block execute. Any of the one condition will be true in this case, right? So at that time, we'll have to use this else if else if block. B is big. Okay. What is the another thing then? Else if this block will execute. Otherwise, what is the else case now? If both of this condition did not satisfy, where it should go? It should come to the else block only, right? So at that time, what we will do is system.out.println and then we will print C is big. Let us check this out. So before checking, we will C now, as per us, C is the greatest one. C is big, right? So let's execute this. C. C is big. This is what we got, and this is our expectation. Now I'll increment the value of B by some other value which is bigger. Now let's execute this. See, now this condition got satisfied, and that's the reason this block got executed. In the case whichever is true, it will execute. If any of the blocks are not true, then it will execute the false block. That is else block. Got it? Yes. So now today we saw what is if statement and what is if else statement and what is if else if, or it is also called as else if ladder. Okay. So these are the three things we saw in if statement. For further videos, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Bye.